there's a limit, guys. Don't be clogging up the internet. And all the AI now, that's probably taken a lot of the internet up, isn't it?
August was a slow month for real estate on the Sunshine Coast. And Tony, I'm wondering if September is shaping up to be another slow month.
It has been so far. We're filming this on, I don't know what the date is, but middle of September. And so far, we saw a little bit of a rally in the beginning, the first week kind of thing. Kids went back to school or were going back to school. People kind of shifted their focus back to real estate, but it has been slow. The stuff that's selling is, I'm going to talk specifically to Gibsons, but I think it's pretty similar on the whole coast. Gibsons for the last 2 months, I think, has sold the highest price house to sell, I think, was 1.4 million. Nothing has sold for the last 2 months over 1.4, and most of the stuff that's selling is in great shape. Under $1 million. I think 80% of the stuff that's sold in Gibsons as a detached home is under $1 million. And, 8.5 out of 10, so people are presenting it well. Everything else is sitting there. And if you're sitting there with a listing and you've had it on the market for over 30 days and it's in Gibsons or anywhere else on the Sunshine Coast, odds are, you need to do a price adjustment if you want to sell it, or you need to clean it up a bit better and get that wow factor, that curb appeal up. Otherwise, it's going to sit as more and more listings come on the market.
That tracks with some stories I've read here in the last few weeks. When I listen to what you say and I listen to these articles, it sounds like affordability is a big problem for people, that they're shopping for a specific price point right now.
Yeah. So, they've. I think a lot of people that have been sitting on the fence will have looked at a bunch of properties and they'll have been able to get a certain amount for a certain amount of money, and that certain amount of money they have to spend is typically dictated by the payments they can afford. So, like we've talked about before, last year. In February, you could get $1.5 million for about $5,500 a month mortgage payment. That $5,500 a month mortgage payment now gets you about $1 million. So that's been the shift as far as that goes. And so these unfortunate people that have maybe been, taking a bit of time, walking around, looking at houses up to 1.5, and now they're looking at houses up to $1 million, and they're like, well, this isn't really worth the $5,500 I have to pay per month to be able to move into that. You need that little bit of a wow factor when you're presenting a property, or you're going to get that one chance to make a first impression. And if these people are already reeling from not, a third of what they could buy disappearing, you want to make sure that when they're looking at your place, they're at least seeing that it's been, there's a lot of home pride and it's been well maintained and well presented.
In the past, I've heard you talk about how important it is for sellers not to chase the market down. Can you explain what that is and if that's something sellers need to be worried about now?
In a market like we're in now, where it's a softening market, interest rates are going up, there's a lot of inventory coming on the market, there's talk of a recession next year, blah, 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 blah. You're going to overlist your property, and if your property is actually worth $1 million and you list it for $1,050,000, 2 months later, it's actually going to be worth about $950,000. And so at that point, you might adjust and go, oh, okay, we'll drop it down to $1 million, and you'll sit there for 2 months and it'll be worth $925,000, and it'll continually be chasing the market. You'll be adjusting your price. Buyers still won't see value. Whereas if you just bitten the bullet to begin with and dropped the price appropriately, you would have had interest, you would have sold your house, and you would have, not lost the money you lose by overreaching. If I'm not seeing action within 2 or 3 weeks, there's two things that are wrong. One, it's not getting enough exposure. So all the potential buyers that might be interested in that home aren't necessarily seeing it, or they're all seeing it, but they're looking at it and not seeing value because you're asking too much money in comparison to the other similar properties, not that are listed, but that have sold. Because most buyers are looking at what things sold for. They're not going to care that there's 10 other listings that are also overpriced. They're going to be looking and waiting for one that makes sense for them to invest in a softening market, so they can get the return they want, given what their plan is or what period of time that they're looking to do.
Circling back to what you had talked about with chasing the market down, there is a Surrey realtor named Stephen Karrasch. I don't know if I'm getting that right or not. Karrasch. He recently had a video on YouTube that we'll link where he talked about what it takes to sell a property in Surrey right now. And I'm wondering if you think that this is the same here on the Sunshine Coast. He's saying that if you rate properties 1 to 10, if your property isn't an 8.5 out of 10, don't waste your time. You're not going to sell the house. That people are only buying the cream of the crop right now. If your house is not an 8.5 out of 10 at least, then it needs to have a wow. And he's saying a wow is like a big swimming pool or a bunch of recent renos or an exceptional location. And then failing that, your wow has to be price. That your price has to be so low people are impressed with the value that they're getting. And is that a good comparison to what's happening on the coast right now?
Yeah. So to go back to something that that we talked about before, which was using BC assessments to kind of gauge, where your property might be, right? Or what you might sell your property for. So obviously, individual properties might have different wow factors, like Steve's talking about. Wicked view, nice games room, or detached garage or shop or that kind of thing. If you're looking at a standard spec, so it's in a certain area, it's a 3-bed, it's a 2-bath, it's built in a certain year. And it's got a similar size lot, similar square footage, that kind of stuff. You can look at similar properties that have recently sold, maybe take an average of them, and that's going to give you an idea of what your house is worth. If you are priced in that range and it isn't an 8.5 out of 10, so it hasn't been maintained, you haven't updated things, the landscaping doesn't look good, you haven't cleaned up outside, the roof's got a hole in it, any of those kind of things, that's going to come off of that average price. So it's not a market now where you can just wait and figure someone's going to come along and buy it. Buyers know that there's a lot of inventory coming on. Buyers know that the people are selling, either motivated given that they want to make a change in their life, or are needing to sell. And so the attitude has come 180 degrees from where it was a year and a half ago. So I'd 100% agree with that here. I'd say it's even more so here because we're a rural community that is landlocked, and we need a ferry to get here. And you have to, if you're going to work in the city, you have to actually go to the city, and there aren't many people that can work from home. Mm-hmm. And our primary buyer group is back to being retirees. So now what we're looking at is having to present your property, price it appropriately, get ahead of the market. You can't worry. This is the biggest thing. People call me in and they go, can you come and have a look at my house? And I go look at the house and I say, well done, you've maintained it. Well, no, you've done a terrible job. Typically, they maintain it well. And I say, okay, this is a bunch of houses that are similar to yours in a similar area in the last 6 months or so that have sold. And they go, yeah, but what about Tom's house down the road? He's listed for X amount more dollars. I'm like, yeah, how long has Tom's house been on the market? I think about 3 months. And then we look at the history and it's been on 3 months this time, but it was on 6 months before and 6 months before that. And Tom ain't budging on price, mm-hmm. right? Now, the actual value of Tom's home a year and a half ago, based upon what things were selling for, not what things were listing for, what things were selling for, might have been $1 million too. Now, with the market softening, interest rate going up, based on what actually things are selling for, is maybe worth $1 million. So that's kind of, chasing the market down, is not selling your house as the market softens. And realistically, if you've got your house on the market and it's, and it goes to market, you've got all your marketing out, you've got your photos done, your video and all the rest of it, floor plans up, done your realtor tour, had everyone come and look at it, and 3 weeks have gone by and you haven't had a nibble or you haven't even had a showing request, that kind of stuff, there's two potential problems. One, no one knows about it, but assuming that the realtor's done a good job, if everyone's that's potentially interested in buying it has seen it and hasn't even bothered asking for a showing, they're not seeing value. So waiting and hoping and then gradually reducing the price isn't going to do the trick. You need to do a big drop, cancel listing, big drop in price, get ahead of it and go from there. And if you don't need to sell, maybe now it's not the time to be, clogging up the internet with your listing. There's a limit, guys. Don't be clogging up the internet. But the other thing that you had mentioned to me, you and Val have been looking at doing a refinance or a new mortgage.
Just time to renew our mortgage. Talking to the mortgage specialist at the bank, we had asked, is she really busy? Lots going on. And she said there are way more refinances right now than there are mortgages. That people are thinking that they want to sell their house and upgrade, but when they find out about realistically what they can get for their house, they decide they'll just stay put and refinance and renovate the house instead because it just doesn't make sense for them to move at what prices are. So like you're saying, people look at it and they're like, I can't sell in this market. I don't want to sell in this market. My hand isn't being forced to sell in this market, so I'll just stay where I'm at. Tony, what do you have on the market for October that people need to see if they're serious about buying a home.
What don't I have, Paul? No, I have you mean new ones, right?
That's right.
Because some of the old ones have been on there for a while as well. Okay, we got 6406 North Gale Avenue. That one it's a spanny built home. Massively kind of overdone on a beautiful lot, waterfront, seashelled inlet. It's got the most gorgeous metal copper looking roof, which, it's definitely grown on me. But yeah, lots of value there. I don't think you can buy the lot and build it anywhere close to what they're asking for that one. So legal second address on it, legal suite that they rent out on Airbnb. I think it's full, 95% of the time. It's as full as they want it, other than, having their friends over. So good revenue potential there. If that one's still available, that one's just come out, and we've had a few good showings on that. So check that out. What did you think of that when you were in there?
That is gorgeous. It's you really see the quality in the house. Like when you walk into the foyer, like as soon as you walk in, it's a big, wide, impressive space with gorgeous tile floors. And then the view is as good as any view I think I've seen on the coast. Lots of windows in the main living space, so it really maximizes the view. High ceilings, like everything you want in a nice new or next to new high-end home. The beach is right there. They've got a series of decks that take you down to the water.
There's like 3, yeah. Pretty nice.
If you want your kayak, your paddleboard, your, whatever you want, you can put it right there. And the area is very private. So you're not going to have a bunch of stragglers coming by and want to hang out on the beach or whatever. It's kind of going to be your secluded private spot on the inlet.
In addition to that, we have a new land development called Tudor Grove. That's out in Madeira Park, Pender Harbour area, very close to Madeira and Oak Tree Market, all that. So that one's I'm really excited about that. We've got a new sales centre set up, which will be open soon. We'll be putting that on Realtor tour, probably not next Wednesday, the Wednesday after that. So I think there's 14 lots or so out there. Some high bank waterfront, some view lots, and then a couple of 2-3 forested lots as well. So I'm excited about that one. I think that one will sell pretty quick, and there is a shortage of kind of build-ready land available. So hopefully, that one's successful. 9305 Stevens Way. It's got a gorgeous cabin on it. It's got the the storage areas. It's got the build sites ready. It's got the environmentally friendly relocated house from Vancouver. So that one's that's out there, and we did do a price reduction on that. So that's just under 1.6 million now. And compared to the sold properties around that one, it is really good value for money, and they're getting ahead of the market there and ready to move on. So that's an opportunity for multi-generational purchase, or just someone looking to invest. I think you'll do very well with that one.
There's a cabin on that property that is super cute. You imagine what a cabin looks like, but this is like, it's got a dishwasher and really nice finishes in it. For 1 or 2 people, that cabin is super livable. You would be very comfortable in it. And if you wanted to build down the road, you could just use the cabin as like a weekend getaway, or spend holidays up there or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of options with that property.
I agree. And we have a lot coming up on in Vista Ridge. It's on Courtney Road there. So a beautiful build-ready lot. The seller's plans changed. She ended up doing something else. But that one, I'll be surprised if that doesn't sell pretty much right away. Comes with building plans. So that one's a good one, ready to go.
That's in Grantham's Landing, and it's kind of started. Like they've started the groundwork on it. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and nothing's actually been built, so lots of time for somebody to come in and decide what they want to do.
You could change, no foundation poured, so you could change the footprint there, obviously the design, that kind of stuff, and lots of good builders on the coast that you could use for that. So yeah. So it looks like October is going to be a great month, and we'll probably have some more listings on by the time that this comes out. So just check out teamtrueblue.ca, and all the listings will be up there. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. While you're here, maybe you want to check out one of my listings or watch my video about why you should choose me to sell your home.